Welcome to another edition of Papa Bojo's Kitchen. Well, today I'm going to pay homage to my wife and I'm going to make the national dish of the country that she originated and lived until she was 12 years old. That country is Iraq. My wife is Chaldean. And the name of this dish is Al-Masgou. And it's a fish dish. And it's my version of it that I can make here. If you want to make it identical to the way they make it in Iraq, you have to use freshwater carp out of the Tigris or Euphrates rivers. And you cook it in like a cage covered with all the seasonings and stuff, and you cook it over coals, either wood or charcoal or something like that. I'm going to make one that the flavor is very, very similar, and it's my version of al-masgou. Here are your ingredients. Because the fish only takes 10 to 15 minutes to cook in the oven, the first thing we're going to do is we're going to make our sauce. It's a nice thick sauce with all of these herbs and all the flavorings over it. And we want to give it a little time for all the flavors to intermingle together and melt together so that when we take the fish out and we layer that sauce over it, it just adds that great flavor that we want. The first thing we're going to do is we're going to crush fairly finely all of our whole tomatoes here. And because these are going to be cooked, I can use my bare hands. I don't need a glove. So we have our frying pan on medium, and we're going to add our oil. Once we see the oil start shimmering, we're going to make sure we have a nice layer all the way around. And then we're going to add our onion. We're going to stir our onion around a little bit, try to coat each piece in that oil. We're going to cook these until they're translucent. Now I'm going to cover these for just about maybe a minute to two, just to steam them, soften them up a little quicker. After a couple stirs, these are starting to brown. We're now ready to add our garlic. So I'm going to use my garlic press to put all my garlic in. Once I'm done with my garlic press, I'm going to take a knife. I'm going to cut everything off. I'm going to stir it all around. As soon as you smell the garlic, add in all of your spices and stir quickly and thoroughly. Adding your spices now intensifies the flavor by toasting the spices. Now we're going to add our hand-crushed tomatoes. We're going to add in a cup of juice from the whole tomatoes. We'll now add in all of our tomato paste, and we'll cook this until it's fully dissolved. Once you have the tomato paste pretty much dissolved, you're going to add in your vinegar and lemon juice and stir. Then you're going to add your chopped olives and stir. And finally, we're going to add in all of our parsley, and we're going to stir this in thoroughly. Now we're going to set this to a simmer. Now I'm going to taste this, and it is perfect. So we're going to cover this and let this simmer until the fish is all done. Now that we have our sauce going, now it's time for us to season our fish, put it on some parchment paper, and get it in the 425-degree oven. So I've mixed together pretty much my salt and my curry. I'm going to sprinkle this liberally on top of each one of these pieces. I'll flip them over and liberally season the other side as well. And now I'm going to take each piece and I'm going to rub it to make sure every little millimeter of this fish is covered in that seasoning. And I'm going to lay it on the parchment paper. And we're ready to put this into the oven. So we're going to go into a 425-degree oven for 12 minutes. Now, after 12 minutes, I'm going to check the center of the thickest piece of fish that I have, and I'm going to make sure that the temperature is at least 145 degrees Fahrenheit. You want it between 145 and 165. That's the sweet spot to get nice, flaky, juicy, and tender meat. So my fish is done. It's actually about 165, not 145. I made some barley that I'm going to have as my bed, and I've put some of my sauce in another bowl, and we are ready to plate. The first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take this barley, I'm going to lay it on the plate. Next, I'm going to ladle some of this sauce over this bed of barley. Next, I'm going to lay my 3 pieces of fish right up over the top of this barley with the sauce. Now I'm going to add a strip of sauce right over each one of these pieces of fish. Then I'm going to add some Kalamata olives, some whole ones. And lastly, I'm just going to add a little bit more sprinkle of parsley. And here you have it, the national dish of the country of Iraq, my wife's country of origin, Al-Masgou. I really hope you give this a chance. It's during the Lenten season. It makes fish taste real great. You might want to check on the recipe for the amount of cayenne. I like it a little spicy. This is a little spicy. You might want to cut back or eliminate it if you don't want it. But nevertheless, the flavor in this is incredibly ridiculous. Well, I hope you've enjoyed this episode of Papa Bojo's Kitchen. I hope you come and see me again. Buon appetito. Bye.